Hey guys, this is Justin from FITHAUS Personal Training, and today we're going to talk about cutting fat without losing muscle mass. So when we're going through a cutting phase, the primary goal is to lose body fat versus total weight. So again, we're going to lose a little bit of weight in this phase, but we don't want to lose too much muscle mass. There's different strategies that we can employ to make sure we're focusing mostly on cutting fat versus cutting muscle. Muscle is going to be just our helper. It's going to help us burn more fat. So we don't want to lose any of that if possible. If we lose too much muscle mass, we're going to end up looking skinny fat. Small, slender, but still pretty high on the body fat percentage scale. The first tactic we want to look at is protein intake. Protein is going to be the building block for your muscle mass, and it's going to help you retain your muscle while you're also burning fat. With protein, if you're a male, let's say you weigh 180 pounds, you want to have 1 gram of protein for each pound of body weight. So you're going to have 180 grams of protein that day. You can go a little bit higher. That's a rough estimate. A lot of people will go higher, a little bit lower. But if you're having half of that, chances are you're going to be losing a lot of muscle mass. What kind of sources of protein do you want to aim for? Ideally, you want to switch it up. Plant-based protein is great, but you can also go for different meat sources, eggs. Ideally, you want to stay away from the processed stuff. A lot of you guys are having protein shakes every single day, and there's just a lot of disadvantages to that, especially if you can tell that it's not really sitting right and your digestive system isn't really happy with that protein. Let's look at actual whole sources instead in that case. One quick tip I want to touch on quickly is going back to intermittent fasting that we talked about in another video, and just the benefit of the rise of human growth hormone that intermittent fasting gives you. Human growth hormone is going to help you preserve your muscle mass even without any food coming into your body, into your system. So that's a great strategy to use when you're in a cutting phase, is doing some intermittent fasting, just based on the fact that your human growth hormone is increased, and that alone is going to help you preserve more muscle mass. When we're in a cutting phase, we definitely want to be in a calorie deficit. But how much of a calorie deficit do you want to be in? That's a really important question to look at, because a lot of people go way too extreme at this point. If you're used to taking on 3,000 calories a day as kind of a maintenance weight, you don't want to go down to 1,000 calories or less just because you want to lose weight or lose fat. We want to look at about a 20% deficit versus just your maintenance. That's going to allow you to still have high energy, but also lose fat in the process. If we're in too much of a calorie deficit, we're actually going to be in what's called starvation dieting. There's a lot of disadvantages of taking that approach. Yes, you're in a huge calorie deficit, but you're also changing the hormonal balance of your body. Specifically, you're stressing your system out. You're going to be increasing your cortisol. Cortisol, guys, that's the hormone that will allow your body to store fat in your stomach. And even though you might be losing weight, chances are you're going to be holding on to fat or even gaining fat. So this is really the opposite of what we want to do here, guys. So starvation, let's avoid that. Let's be in about a 20% calorie deficit. So during a cutting phase, a lot of people try to do a lot of cardio, definitely increasing their cardio versus what they would do in a building or strength phase. And cardio is fine, guys. There's a lot of different ways to do cardio training. There's high intensity interval training. There's steady state cardio. You might be walking for a couple hours. And there's everything in between. With cardio, we don't want to be too extreme. We don't want to kill it every day and do 2-3 hours of cardio every single day just because you're going to be in a much bigger calorie deficit. What can happen is if you're just focusing on that aerobic cardio-based training, you can actually increase, again, your stress hormone, cortisol, which is going to slow your fat burning, and you're going to lose weight, so it's going to be very deceiving. So I want you guys to do this the right way. I would suggest doing high-intensity interval training mixed with weight training, and also maybe some longer-term steady-state cardio, just so that you're getting a good balance of each, and you're not going too extreme. All right, guys, I hope that really helps you focus on how to strategize your cutting phase. Again, it's nothing too extreme. You want to be in a calorie deficit, you want to get your protein in, and you want to do a mix of training that incorporates cardio, but also some weight training as well, guys. So try that out, let me know what you think, and let's check out the next video.